Silence, solitude, and the sound of ships echoing in the night. Once the most feared prison in America, Alcatraz is making headlines again. And at the center of this story, its last known living inmate, Charlie Hopkins. 93-year-old Charlie Hopkins often drifts back to those cold, quiet nights on Alcatraz Island. He says the one sound he remembers most was the distant whistle of ships passing in the dark. That sound could cut through your soul, he told. It felt like someone crying in the night. In 1955, Hopkins was transferred to Alcatraz to serve time for kidnapping and robbery. The prison, an isolated fortress in the freezing waters off San Francisco, held some of the most dangerous criminals of the time. It wasn't just a prison, it was a cage for the human spirit. There was nothing to do, no radio, no books, just pacing in your cell or doing push-ups. I cleaned the floors until they shined, but inside, I was fading. Hopkins didn't just serve time. He lived among infamous names like Al Capone, Whitey Bulger, and bank robber Forrest Tucker. And at one point, he even helped plan a failed prison break, smuggling hacksaw blades to cut through prison bars. The plan was discovered, and Hopkins spent 6 months in solitary confinement, known as D-Block. Today, Alcatraz is a historic tourist site. Rusted pipes, crumbling walls, and millions of visitors a year. But recently, former President Donald Trump made a bold declaration. He wants to reopen the prison. His message? Alcatraz should once again be a symbol of strength and punishment, a place for the country's most violent offenders. But Hopkins, now living quietly in Florida with his daughter and grandson, just shakes his head. He doesn't really want to open it. It's more of a message, to show he's tough on crime. A prison once impossible to escape is now impossible to restore. Hopkins, once a troubled young man, has spent decades rebuilding his life. He's written a 1,000-page memoir, not to glorify his crimes, but to reflect on how far he's come. Sometimes, the past echoes louder than the present, and sometimes those who were once lost help us see more clearly. Alcatraz is now just a relic, but the voice of its last inmate reminds us. Some doors are better left closed. You've been watching Crime Watch America, where the darkest stories shed light on deeper truths. Join us next time for another journey into the heart of crime and redemption.